Right, so I am back once again today to deliver another episode of Sangatsu no Line Season 2. This episode being episode 7, if YouTube kicks in. Oh boy. Now this is the pinnacle episode. This episode, the events that transpire in this episode will blow your effing mind. I must say, oh my god, my boy Ray, he gets me in this episode. He gets me. Like, it's been my heart. It's like boy. He goes from boy to boy, literally in the space of like 25 minutes. I was utterly shocked. I was like, my boy's growing. My boy's growing even more than he was beforehand. But yeah, so last week's episode actually was quite the episode as well, I must say. Episode 28, I think, is also episode 6, was freaking fantastic as well. It kind of very delved into Hina's kind of mental state, how she's actually feeling. Actually was pretty freaking well executed as well. Like, even more than I actually imagined. I was like, God damn, Shaft. I was like, you're going above and beyond. You're going too far. You're going to ascend more than cards from JoJo. You got to calm down, fams. You got to calm down. But yeah, so it's episode. It'll blow your effing mind. It will. Oh, anyway, enough a delay. Let's get on with the episode and see what actually happens. Let's see what goes down in Sangatsu no Line episode 7 or 29, however you want to call it, because it goes by many names. There are literally no breaks in this train. The hype train never ends with Shaft. The Shaft hype train continues even when the show's over. Like, boy, it's still going on. Still going on. Anyway, so let's start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin now. Let's go. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. We're going. The opening's happening. Man, I have been looking forward to this whole entire day for the entirety of this week. It's the only thing that keeps me alive. Like, Sangatsu keeps me alive. It reminds me that, yes, good stuff does happen in the universe. Oh, yeah, we do as well. I need to read a spin-off as well, like the prequel thing at one point as well. I realized that's still there. I'm like, I need to read that at one point. Man, but if you see a glimpse of the legend, you're like, yo, it's a glimpse, fam. It's a glimpse. He's there. Makes it go from a 10 out of 10. Well, actually, no, it's about a 17 out of 10 at this point, to about a 25 out of 10. Maybe to a 26. To a 26, maybe. Pushing it. Pushing it. It is. Pushing it. Beyond a 25 out of 10. This show makes me hungry as well. It's the problem. It's one thing the show also does. It makes me depressed. It makes me hungry. It gives me all the emotions. Look how small my boy Ray is at that point. Look how small he is. It's very subtle. The subtleties of Sangatsu no Lion knows no bounds, especially with food. Oh my god. Holy crap. That actually gave me chills. Holy crap. That was phenomenal. This is outstanding. This is literally outstanding. My boy. My boy. I actually can't believe how well they're doing this episode so far. It's actually... Oh, here it is. It's the grandiose moment. Oh, it's best boy. if Shaft had nailed one scene perfectly, it had to be the bit with Nikaido in it. It has to be 100%. 100% nailed. Done. Boom. Oh, that scene. Beautiful. Beautiful scene. That sax was perfect as well. The sax was perfect. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Prepare yourselves. Here it comes. Here it comes. He said it. He said it. There we are, boys and girls. He said it. It's happening. The boy's changing. The boy's changing. Oh, oh. The boy's changing. The boy's changing. See right here. See right here. He literally did go to best boy at that 1 second. This is like, boom, happened. It's like happening straight away. Straight away. Look at that screen occupation as well. The screen occupation. 100% occupation of the screen now. Absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. It is true. Everyone's best boy at this point. Everyone's literally best boy. Just Ray just goes above and beyond somehow and just becomes like ultra best boy. You ever realize with certain scenes, what used to be really freaking big isn't so big anymore? Like the bridge as well. The bridge has kind of gone a little bit smaller than usual. I noticed that a bit. The same thing with the building. That's all we need to actually I can't say the word now. Certify this episode as the best episode ever made of history of the universe. Just those 5 frames. Oh, ow! The water got back in the throat. Hate when water tries to kill you. Jesus. Also mention the fact that actually the sound design in this episode is fantastic as well. When is it? When isn't it? But this episode especially. The ambience works so goddamn well. Like it's phenomenal. This scene so far, beautiful. That line. That line. That line. Perfect. The boy won. The boy won. Best boy won. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Is it just me, or do I only see Gintoki and Abuto just screaming at Kiriyama right now? Literally just them two screaming at Kiriyama right now. Literally. There it is. There it is. There it is. Oh, that was the episode. It was absolutely outstanding. I say every single week, but freaking hell, this show is absolutely incredible. I don't know how they're doing this, but goddamn, they are nailing every single episode of this anime so far. There's not been one so far I'm like, oh, well, Shaft, you could have done a bit more there. Nah. Every single episode, perfect. I remember one review that said, I never thought Sangatsu would be this good. I was like, bro, Sangatsu's always been this good. This is even better now. It's like Super level 3 of anime at this point. Like, it's just like you've got the Super level 2, and you've got what it's like to go beyond it. And that's what Sangatsu is right now. Super level 3. None of that Super Saiyan level blue or anything like that. We're free. We're Super level 3 at this point because 3 is the kind of the big cheese. The big cheese. Yeah, the sound design I did with the match itself was absolutely outstanding because it kind of just it worked because it was just there was literally like kind of nothing going on behind the actual kind of game itself. There was no music or anything. It was just the world itself. And I thought it actually really did add to the whole entire ambience, actually the whole entire feeling this actual fight does have. Because it does actually have quite a lot of weight to it because Ray's now got a purpose. Actually wants to fulfill that purpose. And I thought the way they actually kind of did handle the audio design in that part of the episode really did just kind of heighten it, everything. And also kind of making it seem as if, I don't know, just kind of breaking that wall that you kind of have between the anime and and yourself as well, is what I'm trying to say. Because one thing they actually learned recently, the fact is apparently music in film and stuff like that. Yeah, the first 5 minutes are actually outstanding. But one thing I did actually know, apparently in film, like it was actually kind of mentioned in Holland Drive. The fact is, apparently music does in theory kind of give you an artificial feeling. Like if you have nothing there and you actually kind of strip that away from the viewer, you actually have to kind of conjure a feeling of yourself. And that's what the episode really kind of does as well, sort of. But then it's actually kind of a concrete reason and concrete idea. But that's what kind of Mulholland Drive says in a little bit. So yeah. Oh man, literally, it was out freaking standing. The first 5 minutes, I was like, I don't even know what's going on here, but Shaft, freaking hell, if I could donate my entirety of my existence to you, I probably would at this point because you did it. You absolutely did it. God damn. I mean, it kind of makes you realize the kind of gravitas of that scene because it does in theory have a lot of gravity to it because you have someone there that you're meant to go to that actually kind of get some help from this whole entire situation. And in theory, she's kind of just blaming you for it. Just like, you're like, bro, what's going on here? Like, you might want to kind of rethink what's happening because I don't think what I'm doing is probably adding to what's going on here. But in theory, there's still a lot going on with the teacher that we don't actually know right now because it does kind of hint towards it. The fact there's actually something going on with the teacher and how she actually has these views because no one in hell should really kind of have these views sometimes because she's an interesting character because she kind of blames Hina for it. I'm like, how though? It's like she's got to be more cooperative. But like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that one. I don't know how to feel about it because it kind of like, I don't think she's done fundamentally anything wrong at this point. So what's the point trying to say her to be more cooperative? But the fact is, what you should in theory do is kind of stop everything, sit down, and kind of figure out what the frick's going on here, and actually then fix it because that would be kind of logical way of doing things. But as we've kind of realized, which is actually kind of a very, very big thing, this whole entire arc actually does in theory kind of very point out the fact that actually there's no 100% way to fix this whole entire situation because you do in theory have quite a big thing going on here. You have bullying, and it's actually kind of one of those things you really just can't fix in 5 seconds because you've got to kind of really just sit down and think it through and actually kind of figure out what the hell's going on, actually kind of then try to fix it. But it's never 100% because then if you try and fix it yourself or try to go and fix it some other way, you then isolate the actual kind of character itself, and you're kind of just sitting there like, yo, there's no fix to this whole entire thing. You made it even worse. I don't know. It's a bit weird how she kind of. I mean, there is a lot going on with her character we just don't know just yet. I mean, there's mountains of things with her character that kind of doesn't fully explain how she has this outlook and how she probably does in theory kind of think the way she does. Because in theory, I'm kind of sitting here going, it's not the correct way of thinking, but I mean, if you've kind of seen this thing a lot happen, I can probably imagine the fact is you probably might become warped after a while. In essence, same thing with people as well. And people have experienced this whole entire thing throughout the whole entire life. People in theory do become warped as well. So you kind of do in theory see where she's coming from as well. But the problem is she's going to someone to get some help, and in theory she's not getting that help she needs. She's getting the kind of the blame for it. Like in essence, when that whole entire thing went on the board, she was like, "What's the meaning of this, Hina?" Like, you don't say that to her. You kind of just sit down, stop the lesson, and kind of go, okay, who did this? We're not moving from this room until we figure it out, because that would be the kind of correct way of doing it. I mean, yes, that would kind of maybe in theory isolate the kind of character even more, But fundamentally, you're not kind of ridding her into the situation itself. You're kind of fixing it with the kind of victim being outside the whole situation, because you're kind of going, look, who did this? Who did this right now? If we do this right now, we can fix this, actually carry on, because if we don't, you're basically hindering your learning. So we've got to figure this one out. So that would be kind of the correct way of doing things. But I'm guessing, as I'm said beforehand, it's just, you kind of see why she's the way she is as well, because of the fact is she's probably seen this before, and in fact she's probably got such a warped way of thinking about it that it's kind of just bled into her whole entire personality, and actually now she kind of just doesn't really fundamentally care. Now she kind of just in theory goes, look, why don't you just be more cooperative about it? Why don't you just like kind of, why are you the way that you are? It's just like, it's not the correct way of kind of sorting this out, because it's not. Literally, it isn't, because you should never really blame the victim for it, because the victim's done nothing wrong. It's like, it's just like, if she could do in theory a lot more than what she can do right now, she probably would. But the fact is, she can't. She's kind of more secluded than anyone else. So you kind of like, you have to kind of figure this one out, but clearly not the case. And it becomes frustrating after all. That's when you kind of, that scene when it kind of makes the whole entire thing just go red, it kind of echoes your own feeling as well, because you just sit there and frustrated, like, why is this happening? Why is this going the way it is? It shouldn't be like this at all. That shouldn't be how it's handled, because you're blaming the victim pretty much. It's like, why though? It's just not, no. But alas. I mean, she's got her own way. I mean, everyone's got their own way of dealing with things. That's the kind of the other way that this whole entire arc actually kind of portrays the events, is how everyone else does have their own ways of thinking about things. So, and actually how then to deal with it. But it's not the correct way, let's face it, because it literally isn't. Like, I've kind of sitting here going, it's a frustrating experience. This whole entire arc, it's both depressing, both full of hope, and actually very frustrating at the exact same time, because the people you're meant to go to don't fundamentally help you until that one person comes along, like, yo, we got to sort this one out, because this isn't happening anymore. And then actually then it kind of becomes a little bit more fixed. But I don't know. It's an interesting arc, because it's one of those arcs that it kind of fills it with hope and a lot of depression, but at the same time it's a frustrating experience. Especially because the teachers just don't do anything. You're like, God damn. I don't know what to feel right now, because I can't understand you at all. Like, it's just a frustrating thing, because it does in theory happen in real life. You do get teachers that kind of in theory don't, I don't know whether to say kind of know how to handle the situation, but just don't know how to go about fixing it, because it's kind of like, if we don't fix this, it becomes even worse. If you fix this, what happens then? It's just one of those things. I just don't know whether or not it does happen in real life, but it's just like, I don't know how. I don't know. I just really don't. It's one of those things. Bullying's a very, very, very kind of, it's a very, very, very kind of intricate topic to actually kind of portray, and it's actually very freaking organically portrayed in this actual anime. Again, it's one of the best portrayals, or probably the best portrayal I've ever seen in my lifetime when it comes to bullying, because it's not going one or two ways. It's going the correct way of thinking about it, which I do really respect. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, we do get the resolution. Like, the actual anime, the actual resolution of this whole entire arc will be fantastic to see actually animated, to be honest, because the actual resolution is fantastic. How it's then kind of just dispelled. It's like, wow. you kind of just take a step back and like, holy crap. And then it just kind of all comes to you like, so that's how it's done. Okay, all right. That's it. That's it. Okay, alrighty. But yeah, okay. So moving on from the whole entire experience with the teacher, because the teacher is the most frustrating character in this whole entire manga at this point, and also subsequent anime as well. Let's move on to Ray, because Ray, my boy, he be growing. I will also mention the fact is it's a screen occupation that Ray has that's slowly growing as the anime goes on. I like it, because it started off him being kind of secluded to the right side of the screen, but now he's fundamentally taken a lot more of a protagonist approach to the whole entire show, actually occupying the screen a lot more. He's actually got a lot more of the screen occupation, which I actually quite like. There's one thing I noted about this whole entire show as it went on. It's the bridge itself. The bridge itself, it's an interesting character in its own right, because it's one of those things that kind of portrays as grandiose object. Like, it's one of those things that you kind of see it's towering over the characters. And then as the series has gone on, it's actually become lower and lower. Like, some episodes do in theory kind of evoke it to be a lot more bigger than it actually freaking is, because let's face it, it does. I think the last week's episode did that actually quite a little bit. But this episode kind of in theory dialed that back and actually allowed it to be kind of not as foreboding as it normally is, because the bridge itself is actually kind of foreboding. I was like, damn, It does in theory portray it to be kind of scary. And it actually, in theory, in this episode, doesn't actually do it that way. Ray's kind of got a purpose now. That purpose is actually kind of just driving him forward. And now the actual bridge itself isn't so big anymore. It's actually not as kind of like this kind of scary experience. It's not that at all. It's actually kind of a very normal experience. And I actually quite like that. I thought it was actually kind of a neat little subtle way of showing Ray's actual kind of development as well. Because let's face it, the show doesn't feel like to actually subtly develop Ray's character through the use of visuals. Because, I mean, it's one of those things because it portrays the building as well that he goes to be quite grandiose. But this episode itself, it wasn't as grandiose. It was actually kind of just very freaking like just normal. It was actually kind of a normal sized building at this point. The perspective shot really doesn't really evoke the fact that he is kind of growing. He's not seeing this kind of place as kind of scary anymore. The purpose he's got kind of just making it seem as if it's not kind of as scary. It's like a third home at this point for him. Yeah, that as well. The actual distance does in theory go down as well. That's another thing it does in theory do. It does actually do that quite perfectly. Actually, great job pointing that one out. Didn't actually kind of think of that. But yeah, it's one of those things that the bridge itself is actually kind of a really freaking good character because it's one of those things, the visuals themselves create their characters as well. Like they don't in theory kind of constitute a lot to the narrative, but in theory, when you think about it, they're there and actually do in theory subtly do quite a bit. Like it's one of those things. It's not like as if they're not fundamental to the narrative per se, but they're kind of still there. And you actually do in theory appreciate they're there. Actually, then in theory, it kind of allows you to see a development that you didn't see beforehand. So I do in theory, I say in theory quite a bit. I like it a lot. I think it's one of the more neater aspects of the show. It's one of those ones that you don't really notice it the first time around until you actually go, oh yeah, and then you kind of like, yeah, alrighty. So there's that. I actually like that aspect of the show as well. But yeah, I like the fact that Ray kind of just says like, I want to be wanted. I want to be kind of relied upon, because it's one of those things that he kind of, when you saw him originally, he's kind of in his own bubble. Like in essence, he didn't rely on anyone else either. He's kind of just in his own bubble, just like kind of stuck in himself. But as the time went on, like the whole thing with Akari's family kind of in theory allowed him to actually then rely on other people, actually kind of then in theory just kind of feel a bit more like he's got a family. But now he's kind of like, look, I've got to kind of stop relying on people. I've got them to have them rely on me. Because otherwise, it's a two-way street at this point. You got to kind of have them rely on you, and you rely on them. It's not one of those things. It can't be one or the other. Sometimes. So it's actually kind of neat the fact he actually doesn't really just say, "Look, I want to be wanted. I want to be kind of relied upon." Because it shows that he's actually starting to actually see the flaws in his own kind of character. Actually, then wants to fix them as well. But then. They have the whole entire thing with the line of you think the whole entire world revolves around you. It does in theory then evoke the sense that he does in theory still have flaws. Like it's one of those things I actually quite like about his character. He's developing, but he still has flaws. There's a long way to go. It's showing the progression slowly, but it's like it's still there, the flaws themselves. Like in essence, he does it. I kind of do see where they're coming from with the whole entire idea of, look, you do think the world revolves around you, because the first part of the show does in theory like kind of evoke that slightly. It's kind of like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. It's kind of depressing because he closes himself off, yet he has people to go to, and kind of like, okay, dude, like you could in theory go to Akari right now to actually kind of get fixed. So you do in theory see where they're coming from. To actually do that aspect, because it does in theory evoke the sense that he does have flaws. He's not absolutely perfect. He ain't like this kind of grandiose character just yet. He's still got ways to go, and I like that. Because it's one of those ones that I think did Hayashida say in season 1? I think Hayashida said in season 1 that he's done a lot which actually kind of then drove his character to actually kind of realize, oh crap, like I've done quite a bit. But I think the line that the world revolves around you think the world revolves around you is what kind of just makes him realize certain things. It's like he doesn't want to admit it because no one ever does. Like if someone kind of just deconstructs your character like right in front of you, like, I'm sorry, what? Like you don't accept it, but it's actually kind of there, and you do kind of realize to yourself, like, Christ Almighty, oh God, I do in theory think myself the world revolves around me. It's one of those things. It does in theory happen, but that's why I kind of like and appreciate that line, because it does in theory just show the flaws in his character. One of those things. I'm like, yeah, all right, Ray. You don't see it yourself, but it's very much there. It's a good job that it's now kind of just shown, because you get to see it as the arc goes on as well, especially when you get to Junkei's character. Oh boy, the episode, you'll see it there. It just kind of just highlights perfectly his character and how flawed he actually really freaking is. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he does say it. Like, yeah, that is his line. That is actually his line. It's true, because he does in theory close himself off in season 1. Like, season 1, part 1, up until episode 13, I think it is, when he kind of just realizes, oh crap. Like, he does in theory close himself off, and it does in theory come off as if he's kind of like just there wallowing in pity. Like, it's kind of like, dude, you can in theory go somewhere right now, but you just kind of just don't want to because you're stuck in this bubble. It's one of those things, even the grandpa says it. Grandpa says, look, it takes a long time for that person to get to the place he wants to go to. So you do in theory understand where he's coming from as well. But it's actually still there. That's why when Akari actually bursts through the door, like, yo, we're fixing this right now, it's kind of like, yeah, that was there since the beginning. And that's after that point, he doesn't realize that he needs to rely on people. And how should actually kind of doesn't evoke that even more. Kind of goes, bro, fix it, sunshine, because it ain't gonna happen otherwise. And then now you got basically the crescendo of the whole entire thing. When you think about it, you've got the actual kind of point where it's like, there it is. He's actually finally realized. He's actually kind of got to that point. Like, it's actually kind of neat when you think about it, because it's actually kind of a very subtle character arc, but it's all kind of come to a head. It's actually really cool. I thought it was actually one of those neater things. That's why I kind of like this chapter overall in the actual manga. It's one of my favorite ones because of that whole entire line, because it's actually a very, very subtle character arc that actually just kind of happened in the background. You realize, you're like, oh crap, it's actually there. Good job there. Good job. So yeah, good job. But yeah, I mean, damn. I still also like the use of the water as well. Like one of the more neat aspects of the actual anime is the water itself, like the kind of the presence of the water and what it actually really does for me. Because a lot of the actual interpretations suggest that the actual water itself is something you have to overcome. Like, it's actually kind of one of those things that's actually kind of neat, because it's always there in the more like kind of very, 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 very emotive moments. Like, it's always kind of present. Like, something you have to overcome as time goes on. It's actually, I think it was shown in Akari's moment as well. It's also shown in this episode with Hina's moment. Like, you saw the water beneath her. I think it was also shown last week's with when she was kind of, when she had that moment when she basically said, look, if I could, I would do a lot more than what I'm doing right now. That whole entire thing. It's like, it's one of those things that the actual water itself is a character all in itself, and it's actually kind of the fact that Ray is actually living in front of water as well, because it's actually one of the things, it's just kind of always there, and you have to overcome said obstacle, and it's actually kind of neat. And the fact is the bridge is also kind of there as well. Actually, I like the visual aspect of this show, because it's actually one of those things, it creates characters in its own right. It's like it's a subtle, very, very subtle character. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, it's there, the water. I can't remember. It's actually another moment in the season that actually used the water quite a bit. But yeah, the water is just it's an omnipresent force that kind of in theory drives a narrative across sometimes in the background. Like, you kind of see, oh yeah, look, okay, so you see a character progressing because they're overcoming that water. And in theory, I think it's either next week or the week after, we do in theory actually get the proper meaning of what the water means. I was like, oh, adios, fanboy. And also, don't mention it. I like doing these streams. Actually, my favorite streams of the week. Besides JoJo as well, but I only get back to JoJo one day, because I've been lacking on the JoJo's front this time. I need to go and watch Ancient Magus Bride as well at one point to catch up on that on Kekai Sensen as well. These weeks have been quite the difficult ones. Work is starting to kind of, well, it's coming to an end, but it's sort of getting to that kind of moment. You're kind of like, I want to get everything done before I actually kind of like just spontaneously just go into a spiral of depression. But I'm sort of getting there. So do not worry if I kind of miss anything as time goes on. I probably will get back to it as time goes on. But I think probably as this week goes on, I probably will get Kekai Sensen and also Ancient Magus Bride caught up as well, because I'm very much distinctly lacking in those shows. So yeah. I think that does it for today with what I want to say about the show, because this show is absolutely outstanding. Like, really freaking is. The whole thing with Subaru versus Ray, the subtleties of that scene was fantastic. It was just the fact of it was literally nothing in the background. It was just pure silence. I was like, it's so well done, because it kind of allows you to kind of just take in every single moment of the whole entire thing. I can actually kind of see the different nuances of all the characters as well, especially with Subaru's character. Like, we don't kind of you don't get enough screen time with him, but you kind of just in this episode get to know everything about him and how he works. Just the use of just have nothing in that scene besides the way he acts. And I actually really like that aspect of the show as well. The sound design absolutely outstanding. I thought, oh, good job on that front. Good job on that front. So yeah, that's done me for today. So hopefully you have enjoyed this whole entire stream. It's been quite a long one. It's been like 47 minutes, I think, now at this point. So yeah, that's actually like a good 20 minutes of just just reviewing an episode. I like that. I like that. So yeah, until whenever I actually come back, because I have zero idea what's happening in existence of the driver. So if I am here tomorrow, probably we'll just catch up with something I've missed. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream, then do leave a like, because indeed it does. Jesus Christ. It does help me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here, and you want to stay a bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. But until next time with Sangatsu episode 8 or 30 at this point, I will see you guys later. Bye for now.